Hello, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's finally warm out here. So I decided to record my video outside today under my favorite tree. This is the basswood tree in my yard. Cool story about this tree. My old dogs used to always my old dogs used to always sit under this tree, and my new dogs bury all of their bones under this tree and like all of the rodents and everything that they catch. So I thought this would be a great tree to sit under since it's kind of like the ancestral tree. So today's video, I've been having a lot of sessions lately with people and questions within my community about energetic protection, and a lot of sessions about releasing darker energies or even entities in some cases that have been attached to people. And this isn't scary, okay? A lot of people are scared when this stuff comes up. A lot of people are just the thought of something dark attaching to them is a little bit like, "Ooh, scary," but it's really not when you're protected and when you set intentions. When you're not aware of this kind of stuff, there can sometimes be negative effects, but a lot of us have contracted these situations, these entities, these darker energies into our experience because darkness and light both exist. And in order for us to embody more light, we transmute more darkness. However, we all have equal amounts of darkness and light within us. As much light as you are able to embody, as many angels that you are connected to, as many parts of you that are angelic, there are also parts on the opposite side of that that are attached to you, that connect through you, that you are. And that's not to say that, oh my gosh, scary, I'm a bad person. But part of the healing process and part of the energy of the collective consciousness raising is the ability to transmute these energies. And oftentimes we have this darkness within us, and then there is some kind of an event or some sort of chain reaction that happens that allows us to shine light on those dark pieces, love them, heal them, respect them, and then transmute them to the light. The antidote for everything is always love. So you can't hate or banish away the darkness. That's just not how it works. Anytime you fight against something, you're going to simultaneously be creating more of that thing. And so to transmute the darkness, we actually bring in the frequency of love and forgiveness. So before I get started, just to protect us all, I'm going to set the intention that this space be protected by the light, by your light, by angelic forces, my higher self, my guides, the angels, the archangels, the brothers and sisters of the light, the ascended masters, God, the most high source, asking for these energies to be present here in this video to protect everyone who is watching this, because the dark beings like to attach onto the dark emotions and the dark frequencies. So if you're watching this and you're scared, we're going to send some love and some light to that fear. It's normal. It's okay. Don't shame yourself for having fear. that's always the that's always the next thing, right? Like, "Oh no, I can't be scared." Totally normal. Sort of a taboo topic to talk about, and honestly there's just a lot of misinformation out there, even on, TV shows, The Exorcist, these kind of things. It's not exactly positive. But in the modalities that I work with, which is mostly Reiki and the Akashic Records, the way that we actually release these energies is through love. and forgiveness. We have the intention to send love, fill up that energy with love. We call in the brothers and sisters of the light, the higher frequency beings of unconditional love, to come in, to support that darkness, to release it and send it to the heavens with love and forgiveness, where God's will for it will be done, which means it will go off to be whatever it is supposed to be and to be transmuted and alchemized into whatever it's supposed to be. We let it go, we let it go, and we let God, right? We let God handle it. We don't have to be the karma, we don't have to be the hammer. When we send something unconditional love, when we ask for whatever is meant to happen to it for the highest good to happen, we can let it go and release it. So the headline of this video, the tagline of this video was, I released a demon from a well. And yes, I did. And yes, there are different levels to these entities, okay? There are some that exist in the lower astral realm, which are relatively harmless. And then there are some that exist in the higher astral realms that are a little bit more hardcore, shall we say. So, when I first got into this work, my teacher said, most of you aren't ever going to come in contact with entities. And I thought, most people probably aren't, but I have a feeling I probably am. And I was right. And when I moved back home, I had a call from a friend from around here, and she said, for some reason, I thought of you, and we've been having this issue with this being in our basement, and the kids won't go down there, and everyone's scared, and nobody wants to go down there. We just feel yucky, and we've tried all these different methods for releasing it, but we can't seem to release it. So I came in, and first I tried my Reiki method for releasing, and I did feel some souls releasing. And then I went into the Akashic Records and recognized there was a much bigger soul who was actually collecting these other souls. So there was a lot of energy there. So then I blasted it with love and light, essentially, and I heard in my head this like, no. And I felt all of this energy being released and transmuted and sent back to the light, and all of these souls able to go home, and all of this energy moving back towards the light. Now, you don't have to be a healer or a practitioner to release these energies, although if you are feeling like you might have something, sometimes that can be helpful. But if you do feel anything within you, if you maybe feel something that maybe is attached to you, then what you can do is visualize it. And however you visualize it, that is going to be enough, because your intention is really what matters here. Visualize it, fill it up with love and forgiveness, and ask that it be released and sent to the heavens, where God's will for it will be done. Now, if you are not of the full intention of love and forgiveness, then there could be some issues with that. I have done a lot of inner work. I've come to a place where I am able to see pretty much every being, probably every being. Haven't come across a being yet that I haven't been able to find love and forgiveness for, because at the end of the day, anything that becomes dark was once light. You know, souls, they always have free will. They can always choose to go back towards the light at any time. Sometimes they will go away from it. Sometimes they will go towards it. They can always choose to go back towards it at any time. But if you think about like the bullies in movies, usually those bullies at home, they have a really bad home life, or they had something really bad happen to them. And instead of knowing how to become a being of love, they sort of went the other way, where they became really hard, or they became really mean, or they became really aggressive to protect themselves, to protect their heart. And if we go back enough, far enough with pretty much everyone, I'll say pretty much just as a caveat, but I believe everyone, if we go back far enough, they also have a light within them. And every being has a light and a dark part. So in Reiki, we learn that a lot of these entities, now these entities can be actual beings in the astral, they can be thought forms, they can be negative cords that are attached to others. Essentially, they are something that is, in a way, siphoning energy from you. Um, like I said, usually these energies attach onto darker feelings or darker emotions. When I was younger, I was in a really bad place in my life, struggling with a lot of depression, a lot of substance abuse. I was spending a lot of time in bars. I was definitely not in a high vibration. You know, I had grief, I had guilt, I had fear. And these are the kind of things that these beings can attach to for power. Um, and these thought forms too, right? It's not always, an entity is not always like a big scary ghost with a face. An entity can be just a figment of energy that is negatively impacting you. An entity can also be a positive thing. um, the word entity itself, right? But a lot of people have these different things, and these, and even psychic attacks, right? Psychic attacks come from someone sending negative energy towards you, or something sending negative energy towards you. And a lot of times, beings who are really light can attract more of these because there's this ongoing battle of light and dark happening. But if we rise above and we rise into this unity consciousness and this consciousness of unconditional love, we can transcend this dualistic way of being, and we can easily release these energies. But they're not really something to be feared. Sometimes these souls, if they are a soul, are lost. Sometimes they, you know, died traumatically and they didn't have a clean crossing over. Um, in this realm, this astral realm, there are beings that are healed, or, beings that are wanting to move towards healing, and there are beings who aren't necessarily wanting to move towards healing. And there are healed and unhealed aspects of the ego in this realm, just like on Earth. We have healed and unhealed aspects. And so a lot of times these beings, if they are still attached to their ego, which in this realm they are wanting to move through the physical for their own selfish reasons. Sometimes these beings will come to a person in a time of need. Sometimes they will come to people who are channeling, who don't really know what they're channeling, and they will pretend to be beings of the light when really they have their own selfish reasons. So, this is why it's always really important to have discernment when you are listening to channelers, discernment about where they're getting their information, as well as discernment when you are doing your own channeling. And if you're ever confused or if you ever don't know, just ask the being to reveal their true self, because they're not allowed to not tell you. So I had an instance once where I felt this like really high vibrational light, and it was like, I am Jesus. And it just felt kind of like too much for me. It didn't feel the way that love usually feels for me. And I asked it to reveal its true self, and I got this just like energy. And I was like, oh, you are not Jesus. So if you are a channeler, if you are ever channeling and you're not sure what you're connecting into, just always ask it to reveal its true self. When we work with the true vibration of the Akashic Records, we are always in these high frequencies of unconditional love, but there are false Akashic Records in the astral. So this is why we have specific practices for accessing this information. It's the same with Reiki. Um, we have specific practices and attunements for accessing this information. And I know there are people out there who believe, like, oh, you don't need these modalities and stuff, and you don't. Everybody has these abilities, but just like tradition is passed on, just like, in shamanism or in ceremony, the shaman passes it on to the next generation, and they're usually born into um, tradition. This is the same with these sorts of modalities. It's tradition, and it's structured, and we know where it's passed on from a master to a student or a teacher to a student. So um, yeah, so that's why I believe in these modalities specifically. And I personally haven't ever felt a large fear around any kind of dark energy because I know I'm protected, because I do a lot of work to set intentions that I'm protected. I have grids all over my house. I set intentions every day. And so this video, it's titled Easy Ways to Protect Your Energy. And there are some very easy ways, but the number one thing is intention. So becoming very familiar with intention. So if you work with these beings, Jesus, angels, God, ask them for protection. Ask them to protect your car, your house, your pets, your land, yourself, your family, and they will protect you because they can't help you unless you ask. But then they will always help you when you ask. So that's the number one thing is intention. Write down your intentions. If you want to take it a step further, get a crystal that you love, charge that crystal with energy. And if you have your Reiki, amazing. If you don't, charge it with your own energy, charge it with your own intention, connect to God, or in Reiki, we call it frequent or beings of the third heaven or higher. So these are the beings that have moved into the frequency of unconditional love and have a love for everyone and everything. Ask for help from these beings, the brothers and sisters of the light, the ascended masters, beings from the third heaven or higher. Now, charge up that crystal, set it on top of that paper, maybe charge it daily, reaffirm that intention, because obviously that crystal will be gathering energy if there is negative energy present. That is a beautiful way to start your work with being protected from dark energies. Because if you are a light worker, if you are a being that is on your healing journey, which chances are if you're watching this video, you are in one way or another, energetic protection is really important because you're this big, bright, light, shiny light. And if you think about it, all the flies are attracted to the light. Another way I really love to ask for protection is trees. The trees are protectors. You can speak to the trees. They do protect your property. So I would imagine it would be the same with plants, with houseplants even. Obviously, trees are quite powerful, but they are ancient beings. They've been here for a long time. They are ascended masters in their own right. So you can ask the trees for protection. Mr. Big Basswood Tree here in all of his glory. I have trees all over the place. A whole big line of them, a whole big forest back there, a bunch of apple trees off in the distance, some maple trees. I got lots of tree protection here. Another way I really love to protect my energy is before I go into a space, I will set the intention. I'll call in all of my guides. So I really recommend creating your own sort of prayer. So whatever guides you work with, if you work with God, like I said, but I'll say it again, you can't really say it too many times. God, angels, archangels, brothers and sisters of the light, ascended masters, loved ones on the other side, beings of the third heaven or higher, if you resonate with that. Beings of unconditional love and light could be another way that you maybe write it. Your higher self, the most high, creator, source. Write that, and practice it. Eventually, you'll just kind of riff it off in your head without even thinking about it. Um, but before I go into a space, I will visualize a bubble of light around myself, and I will ask for only frequencies of unconditional love to enter this bubble. Anything that is not a frequency of unconditional love will bounce off this bubble, be neutralized, and sent to the heavens with love and forgiveness. Or you could send it to the earth with love and forgiveness, because the earth, she is like a compost pit. She takes it and she transmutes it. So, whatever resonates with you more. But yes, I visualize this bubble around myself. I visualize it like my aura has become like a thick, sticky gel, and that nothing can penetrate this aura. Anything that is not of unconditional love will bounce off this aura and be sent to the heavens with love and forgiveness. I always take it one step further and I ask that um, whatever I say to be channeled through in a way which is for the highest good, especially if I'm going into a situation where maybe it's going to be tense, or maybe I'm not going to jive with everyone there, or maybe, a family situation or like a big family dinner, stuff like this. And if you have a crystal that you like to wear, you can do the same thing. Ask that crystal to protect you. Crystals have consciousness, crystals have spirit. You can bond with your crystals. There was a time in my life when I didn't have a lot of friends and I had a lot of crystals and I loved them all. They all had a very special place in my heart. Really good crystals for protection: tourmaline, big one, obsidian, tiger's eye, Apache tear, jet, those darker crystals. But also clear quartz is a amplifier of energy. So I actually go and create full crystal grids, and I put my intentions inside that. And then I visualize like this dome of energy. I have a special way to connect all the points and visualize this dome of energy over top of the grid. So it's like being held within this frequency. Everything that's inside is being held in this energy. That is a really beautiful way to protect your energy. You can even send, you can visualize that light around spaces if you like. Now, I've also had clients, Reiki students, who have like asked to send Reiki to, they're at a gym maybe, and they're like, I'm sending Reiki to the gym. And then they feel like they're really um, connected and they're like processing other people's emotions and stuff at the gym. So I don't suggest sending healing energy to a space while you're in it per se, but you can create a bubble around that space and ask that the space be protected always or while you're in it. I've done this with places as well. And if you are sending Reiki to a space, or if you are attaching your energy to a space, make sure you always cut the cord after. If you are in a space that's particularly tense, or if you feel someone's energy has stuck to you in a space, you can do a physical motion of clearing the energy off you. Just that is going to be an intention to clear the energy. Smudging or saging with a herb that you like with the intention is going to release any energy that you might have picked up. I also love salt baths. Sensitive girlies out there, salt baths are your best friend. They are just gonna totally clear you out of any residue that you might have picked up, because once again, you're this beacon of light. So you are transmuting energy everywhere you go. And intentional showers can also be wonderful. Before you step in the shower, setting the intention, this water is going to wash any energy off of me that is no longer serving me, and it is going to wash away any energy that might have been negatively impacting me, and it's just going to all go down the drain and be neutralized, sent to the heavens with love and forgiveness. Now, before bed, if you have trouble sleeping, so a lot of sensitive individuals, they are connected to the astral realm. So we have 7 layers of energy around us, and our 4th energy layer is the astral layer. And so some of us have actually signed up to do astral work while we sleep. So really a great practice is I like to visualize 4 pillars of light around my bed. And I visualize those pillars going all the way down in the earth as deep as they go, all the way up into the heavens as high as they go, protecting my bed before sleep. Setting any intentions as well for sleep. So if you have been having trouble sleeping, set that intention. Maybe you're not going to do as much astral travel tonight. Maybe you're not going to do as much work in the astral. Maybe you whatever intentions you want to set, you can set them. You can ask yourself, your guides, for that protection. I've also gone and put crystals around my bed to help me sleep. In ceremony, there's a lot of energy being exchanged. Protection, really important. When I used to go to ayahuasca ceremony, I would build a grid around myself because you're exchanging energy with people there. They're releasing, right? You don't want what they're releasing to come home with you. So I would always bring crystals and set them around me. I have crystals set up around my land. I have different crystal grids set up in my house. I have pictures that I have protection on. I am very heavily protected because the reality is, yes, these dark energies do exist, and yes, they are attracted to beings of light, and they can be tricksters, but they're nothing to be scared of because they're either going, when you blast them with light, they're either going to decide to go to the light or they're gonna get as far away from the light as possible. And when we do this practice with Reiki healing, we then send healing energy into the place where the entity attached so that it cannot attach again. Because, like I said, they usually do like to attach to wounds or to spaces where we're not fully healed. I have done some work of releasing larger entities. Um, and one thing with those entities is they do need to be treated with respect, just like anything else. They serve a purpose in this unity consciousness. When their job is done and we don't need them anymore, we can release them with love and forgiveness. But they do deserve respect, just like everything else. And so um, I would say if you are going to someone to have this kind of work done, make sure that they are a reputable, credible person and that they are a person that you see is living through unconditional love, because those are the beings that are really going to be able to help you out. And ideally, we all get to the space where we're in unconditional love. But we do all have these light and dark aspects of ourselves. And as we move more into the light, more of the dark aspects are revealed, and some of them we don't even know about. One of my healers said to me once, which was really a nice like wake up call for me, because I for a while was sort of really into kind of like the alien wars that are going on. So there's so much history, we'll say, around reptilians and around Andromedans and Anunnaki and all of these different alien races that have all impacted Earth in some way. And I have a specific alien uh, race that I resonate with. And this race is known to be not well liked by the reptilians. And I guess there was a part of my ego that was kind of like attaching to that. And she really humbled me because she was like, we've all been reptilian. We all have aspects of ourselves that are reptilian. And, just like we've all been angels, we all have aspects of ourselves that are fallen angels. And so none of us are any better than the other on a soul level. Yet, we are all moving towards the light. And so, as we, as a soul, embody more light, we do release those darker parts of us. And so at different parts on our journey, we might have contracted in specific psychic attacks or specific entities or whatever else. And then as we heal, we have the opportunity to release those. So, one of the things I really loved in Reiki was learning that, yes, there is a symbol that helps us against psychic attack in Karuna Reiki, which is the highest level, which is um, the step after a regular Reiki master. You can become a Karuna Reiki master and you receive all these new symbols. And one of the symbols helps with psychic attack. And it says, if we have created a psychic attack in our life, there is a reason for it. And we are not able to release those attacks or those entities until we are ready, until we've learned the lesson. And so this is where the healing component comes in of we release the energy and then we heal the spot where it released so that we go out in our lives and things change and shift and we no longer attract those types of energies. So if you've been impacted by a darker energy, there is nothing wrong with you. It's part of your soul's journey. It's part of what happens here. And there are ways to protect yourself, and there are ways to prevent these things from happening as we move into higher and higher timelines, right? As we move into higher timelines, we start to access these timelines where we heal issues and problems before they happen. And so we can move beyond these timelines. But as we heal, we're also going to be asked to release these darker aspects. So they might show up in various ways. So I hope this makes sense to you. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. But I really just wanted to make this video because there have been a lot, we're going through a massive shift where all of this new light is available to us, which means, and a lot of us are embodying this light. So that means there is new pieces of the dark that are ready to be released and transmuted. But it's nothing to be afraid of or scared of. And part of the process of healing is working with these energies and with intention and connecting to God and the higher power. And once again, these higher frequencies of unconditional love, we can protect ourselves, work with our angels, work with our guides so that we are protected from anything like this coming into our lives or impacting us. So I hope this all makes sense to you. If you have any of your own perspectives, let me know. I'm just sharing what I know, what I've learned, and it has certainly helped me a lot along the way. And I don't like to live in fear. And I think there's a lot of fear-based energy out there right now. And if we're looking at this from a light and dark perspective, that's what the dark wants, is these lower frequency vibrations to feed on. So if we can move beyond that and step into unconditional love, respect the process, understand that this is all happening because we are moving into a higher frequency and a higher consciousness, understand that all beings, all souls, have light within them, just like dark, and they might not all be living from the light, but we can send some love to that soul part of them and understand, that you do not need any special abilities to tap into God, to ask God for protection. And at the same time, if you do feel like you've been impacted by these energies, there are options available to you. And it's not a scary process. It's not an exorcism. You might find along your journey, you have certain friends, certain people in your life, and maybe your shadows, your darkness is friends. And then once you heal and transmute your shadow, and if they haven't, you might move naturally out of their line of vision. You might naturally move to a new frequency, so you two can't be friends anymore. That's a normal part of the process. You might find that you can feel certain energy, like that evil eye energy. If you can feel that, you're allowed to block people. You're allowed to remove people from following you if you feel that energy off them. If you're the one sending that energy, there's maybe a jealousy issue happening there. Remember, jealousy is just your shadow of a light that you haven't yet embodied. So if you feel jealous of someone, it's just because they have something that you perceive that you don't have. But if you didn't have it, or but if it wasn't available to you, if it wasn't a part of you, you wouldn't even want it. So really, they're just showing you what you're capable of. So, checking yourself, doing your shadow work, if you're the one sending any of this energy out by accident or on purpose. Whatever you send out, though, coming back to you in one way or another. Remember. So do your best to live in a space of love so that love is what comes back to you. And don't shame yourself if you don't. Send love to that part of you too. Sending love does not mean you don't send it to yourself. You send love to that part of you as well. That is maybe not sending the love. Love for everyone. But yeah. And yeah, if you've been having a lot of random accidents, or if you have been having some random intrusive thoughts or some negative thoughts that don't really feel like you, or if you're feeling weird vibes, don't be afraid to reach out to a healer, get some clarity. Maybe learn your Reiki. Maybe you feel called to learn Reiki. That's amazing if you do. Um, and always for the highest good with unconditional love. And you will be blessed. If you can send love, you will receive love and you will be blessed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative, helpful. It's good news because it means we're moving into more light, which means more shadow is coming up ready to be transmuted. So all in all, it's good news. Um, and yeah, if you feel affected by something like this, I'd love to help you out. And I feel like that's all. I don't even want to end this video because I'm really just enjoying sitting here in the sun. Oh, it's so nice. We've had such a long winter. But sending you all a big bunch of love, and we will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.